Good morning, Minnesota. What is going on, guys? Sorry for the late start today. Lots of RL stuff, work stuff on the go this morning, but we are at it with our first upload of the day. Actually, we're going to try a little different format today. We're going to try to basically get all our ideas and video topics out of the way in all one live. So maybe we can cut them up to get some extra uploads for those that don't make it to the live. All right. So welcome back to the Purple and Gold Bars channel. I am your host, Supreme Overlord, aka Mr. AI Man 3000, aka Mr. Purple and Gold Bars to you, that is. Welcome back. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I will be doing daily lives, and now I'll be trying to chop those up for those that don't make it to those, getting you the most outside of the box thinking, giving you some great color commentary, and most importantly, some hype for our Minnesota Vikings football team. All right, let's go. Victory Monday is here, ladies and gentlemen. The sample size grows a little more. Why is my voice sounding so rough this morning? Either way, what in the crap? Holy moly, hold on a sec. What a hell of a game that we had this weekend. We saw a little bit of everything from our team. We saw some consistency. We saw depth. We saw great coaching. We saw individual performances and breakout situations, like I predicted, might be the case with all these injuries. So we were looking good as a Minnesota Vikings fan. A destruction of those lowly Bengals, 48-10, a massive win. We will break down and go over that shortly. But first, let's react to some of these games from this weekend. First and foremost, let's take a moment and bow our heads, because these Falcons are cook boys. They ain't making it anywhere this year, and that's for damn sure. When you can't even beat the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Baker Mayfield, and then you can't even beat the up-and-coming, the little ankle biter, the one that is still becoming something in this league, Mr. Bryce Young. If you can't even beat him, ooh, boy, you guys are in trouble. So wow. It's as if everything I said about those Falcons was right. I told you guys last week, the Falcons didn't beat us. We lost that game. It was a meaningless game for us and a meaningless win for them. They got nothing out of it. Didn't help their divisional record. It didn't help them get closer to the playoffs at all. We, on the other hand, are still 1-0 in the division. A couple losses this year ain't going to make a difference in the grand scheme of things. It sucks. Pride maybe is the only reason why it wasn't meaningless for us entirely last week. But let's be real. That team last week suffered a bunch of injuries on the go, and it was evident that that was the biggest factor, because them boys, I'm telling you, I was there. I was live. I watched it. Those Falcons were straight hot garbage. They beat us kicking field goals, and that's one of my biggest freaking chirps. When I fucking shit talk a lot in the comments and all these videos and all these YouTube channels in the commentary section, right? In the comment section, I always like to throw my favorite little dig. How you gonna beat us kicking field goals? And last week, I found out we just don't show up and we let them have the win. We bend over and let them think they got something. Because what happened this week? They had their panties all freaking upgrade. They were wearing the red. Their wives were wearing the red panties all week after that win, because they thought they were so good. But what happened this week, ladies and gentlemen? Look at this score. Goose egg from those Atlanta Falcons. Where is that fucking energy now, Atlanta? I don't see your fans in the comment section anymore. I don't see your fans just saying anything except for fire people and bench Penix and let's give Kirk a shot. Yeah, you guys are real fucking brain dead, let me tell you. But let's not take anything away from these Panthers because as a divisional opponent, you always have to expect a game because even if they're the last worst rated team in the league, if they're in your division, they can steal one from you. The book is near freaking what was it? What would I say? It's overflowing with all the little notes that have been taking over the years. That's why we see such tough games in divisional matchups. That's why we saw those Dolphins give those Bills a heck of a run for their money, even though at the very end we really saw who the team was that was deserving of the win. Josh Allen and those Bills took control and embarrassed these Dolphins in the fourth quarter, and Tua came rocketing, plummeting all the way down back to earth, throwing that game-ending interception. So looky. Usually I'm thinking going into this game, that might be a pretty close game. You never know. Two bottom feeders, two trash teams going at it. You never really know what you're gonna get. And this weekend, for us Vikings fans, we got a hell of a surprise. Look at those Falcons, ladies and gentlemen. Purple Vikings Nation, rejoice. Because we were overreacting. Not I, of course, because I was one of the few voices in the space trying to pump those brakes and get through you, give you guys a different perspective. But let's look at what happened here. Carolina, 30-0 over these trash, dirty birds. Oh man, if you guys missed out and didn't head into any of the Falcons watch parties or the Vikings Chat Now sports channel, boy, you guys missed out. The salt was flowing. Ooh, I couldn't help but freaking throwing it in their faces multiple times. If it would have been in real life, I would have lost my voice just shouting at the top of my lungs to these Falcons bums. Hey, remember all those Falcons fans, hanging out in the street outside US Bank talking trash? Where the hell are you now, bums? I remember you, buddy. You were talking all that trash about Michael Penix, thinking he was so good. Guess what, mother trucker? Your quarterback is hot garbage, and even more so is your team, your coaching staff, and your fan base. So, from the bottom of my heart and from Vikings Nations, suck it, bitch. You fucking suck. Your team is trash. And it feels so good this week after you came back down to reality. Ooh, that's enough of that. No, that's enough of gloating. Let's move on to the next game of the opening window, the 1 o'clock window. If you're on the East Coast, 11 o'clock. If you're on the West Coast, of course, or 10 o'clock. I think no. I was Mountain Time, so the earliest I ever got was 11 a.m. So damn man, I want to move to the West Coast. You guys get to start watching football at 10 a.m. Gosh darn tootin'. I wish I could start that early. Anyways, but the next game that we got to talk about is this defensive matchup between those greasy, grimy Green Bay Packers and that dog pound led by our old friend Kevin Stefanski. Wow. I will say that I thought that this would be a defensive game and it would be a lot lower of a scoring game than it was that people thought it would be. And I gave the edge to Green Bay just out of the fact that every single time I try to bank or hope or wish that Cleveland gets it done, whether they're playing a divisional opponent and we really need them to beat someone for us to get in the playoffs, or for help us in the divisional standings or in the NFC standings. They've always burned me. So I was cautious and said, they'll probably squeak. It may be a 3-point win, not a high scoring endeavor. But, again, this weekend was the weekend that kept on giving for us Minnesota Vikings fans. and the Packers fell to the lowly Cleveland Browns. Big interception by Mr. Jordan Love. Hey, I've been saying every single time any Packers fan wants to come at me in the comments after I call out their team, they always want to ignore the fact that I always say, hey, let's not forget that you guys got the quarterback that is supposedly a Super Bowl caliber, top tier, top 5, top 10 quarterback. But yet, whenever he walks into like the lowly Raiders or maybe the lowly Broncos a couple of years back, he seems to throw interceptions off the back foot, sometimes even on third down, like a trash quarterback. And yet again, that Jordan Love, the one that I refuse to believe in because I am still, for me at least, the jury is still out. I like to give young guys a little bit longer, but I am more and more confident that he is nothing special. And that's yesterday. He proved me right. So thank you very much, Jordan Love. Thank you for proving me that your inability to play quarterback when it matters the most, when your lack of football IQ, knowing that you're on third down, you got to take that deep shot off the back foot into double coverage, into triple coverage, whatever it is, because you are some sort of gunslinger, right? Ooh, man, it hurts to be a Packers fan today, as well as a Falcons fan. But enough of the old trash talking on the Packers. We are not surprised. So let's move on to the next game. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Ruben, 713 Houston. Ruben, where are you, buddy? I remember when you were coming into US Bank last year saying we were going to freaking find out. You guys have him at QB. The Strouds are a force to be reckoned with. Your defensive output, all these things you kept telling me, Nico Collins, oh my God, you guys got the next Super Bowl caliber team in the making. And what the hell happened, Ruben? What the hell happened, Houston? You guys got dog walked in I think it was the home opener for us that year. And was it so satisfying then, and it continues to be satisfying because I don't forget, my friend. And Ruben, I will consistently be showing up in your comment section, reminding you of that ridiculous hot take and reminding you that you are nowhere near as good as you think you are. Ladies and gentlemen, last year they were complaining about Laramie Tunzel and how old he is and how the O-line is trash. Guess what? It's still trash, and you guys are still garbage. Because how do you guys lose to Trevor Lawrence, the guy that everybody has given up on, the team that nobody believes in, and you guys can't even beat the lowly Jaguars? Oh, my God. Ooh, it was a good weekend. For those that are keeping score, for lack of a better way of saying it. Ooh, there we go. 48-10. The Bengals got smollywopped. We'll talk a little bit about this game right now, but you know what? The thing that I gathered from this game is that we have not lost the ability to face adversity and overcome. Multiple games last year, we faced adversity. We faced adversity when Christian Darrisaw went down. We made some moves. We ended up still winning 14 games. I believe we only had 7 wins at that point when he went down. So pretty damn good. I learned last year that this team doesn't give up. They believe in each other. And regardless of how spotty people may be complaining about our coordinators' decision-making or play calling, or whatever you want to say, these men have proven that they can overcome and make the right adjustments when it counts. So I see you guys, Minnesota Vikings, every single one of you players showed out today. It was incredible to see the resolve that you guys had. You can see it in your eyes prior to the game. On the sideline, everyone looked like they were right and ready to make a statement, and a statement you made. So big ups to my Minnesota Vikings. And here we go. We got a heck of a game here between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New England Patriots. 14 points by New England. Hey, you know what? They are on the way up. Like I said, I believe that Coach Vrabel is going to be the coach of the year because at the end of the year, we're going to be looking at this team as a completely different team. It's going to be a whole another story for them going in, a whole other narrative going for them. I don't think they're going to be shocking the world or anything like that. But what I do think is that they're going to be proving the doubters wrong. And I think they're going to look a lot better than a lot of people gave them credit. So, with that being said, Pittsburgh Steelers, hey, that defense is the real deal. Can we say that? Mr. Rapp, what is up, brother? That defense really has it going, man. But at times, Aaron Rodgers did look like Aaron Rodgers of old, but I keep saying at times he looks like old man Rodgers, and he is something that we are going to be looking to capitalize on this weekend because last year we made him pay in England, and this year we're going to make him pay in Ireland. Ooh, I will never forget my heart racing that entire second half, all the way to that last pass that you threw, Mr. Rodgers, straight into the hands of our corner. Ooh, I am totally blanking on his name, that veteran, that wily one-year veteran that came in and showed out for us. Ooh. Thanks, Rap. I really appreciate it, man. So I'm expecting a heck of a performance by both teams this week. They've got a lot to prove after their hype died down after getting smacked upside the head by Sam Darnold and those Seahawks, and they were able to right the ship. Now let's see what they can do against an actual good roster with actual good coaching and clock management. Ooh, man, Jordan Mason is going to be running hard in Dublin. Ooh, I can't wait for that game. So, but that's next week. This week, big ups to the Pittsburgh Steelers for coming away with a win. And my goodness, can we talk a little bit about this game? 26-33 Philadelphia Eagles. You know, a couple people were saying when I said, hey, arguably our Vikings team has the best roster as well as coaching staff in the NFC. And I am willing to argue to the death. Well, maybe not to the death, but argue. And that's a hill that I will die on, that we are arguably the best roster in all of football. I don't care what you have to say. The things that I have seen this team do, the things that I have seen them pull out of their butt last year, the motivation and doubt that I may have started to foster was completely washed away. That's why this year I am as cool as a cucumber. Last week in Minnesota at home opener, I wasn't rattled for 1 second. I was just happy that I was there to witness history, because even the losses are going to be talking points about this first year of the JJ McCarthy era. And in a couple of years, I'm going to be looking back and reminding all of you people that couldn't hold your resolve and stay focused in faith in our team. It's 2 weeks, ladies and gentlemen, but I will forgive you because I have a big heart and I love all Minnesota Vikings fans. So we're going to let you off the hook because I think we're flying pretty high. But I got a lot of pushback saying, oh, how could the Vikings be the best roster in the league when the Eagles are in the league? And I'm like, hey, you know what? I don't know how many times I've seen -1 passing yards by a quarterback in the first half. At least JJ had like 27 or 35 or whatever that first half against the freaking Bears. He had more passing yards last week. Oh my God. Well, you know what? It is what it is. Jalen Hurts is up and downs, and he has these kinds of halves where he is atrocious. So, you know what? Put me and my Vikings team up against any fan and the Eagles, man. I take that bet every time. I don't care. Because I know if we run that simulation 100 times, we win more times than we lose. At least 51 times, ladies and gentlemen, because we are that team. We are a team of resolve. We are a team of talent. We aren't a team of hype because nobody hypes us. Nobody gives two craps about us. So that's why I know we got the real deal, ladies and gentlemen, and we're not all hyped like these Philadelphia Eagles. But so we'll move on. We'll move on because what a bad loss for those Rams, 27-7 or 26-7, whatever it was. That's an embarrassing loss for Sean McVay. And does that mean that these Rams and Sean McVay might be gettable, especially in these type of games that they usually don't lose? Maybe. So I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see those Eagles struggle and remind everybody that they are still human and we are still better than those plugs. Let's go, Vikings. All right, let's move on to the next game of the hour. We got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New York Jets. Man, Tyrod Taylor and those I was Tyrod Taylor out there, if I'm not mistaken. But either way, regardless of who the heck was out there, those Jets definitely look like something different is going on over there. I'm not ready to crown them as an up-and-comer or that they've fixed anything yet, but you know what? I am definitely starting to pay a little bit more attention because these scores and these passing yards and what they're doing is definitely against what I had anticipated going into this year. So, New York Jets, I got you in my sights. But let's talk Baker Mayfield. Come on, boys. Let's go. Baker Mayfield, I have been an absolute fan from the moment at the end of that bowl game where he grabbed his crotch and was freaking yelling at the other team, letting him know who he was. And to me, he told me that day, he is a gosh darn winner and he will do anything to win. And he has always consistently proved that everywhere that he goes. So that's why those Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to pull off that last minute drive and that field goal for the win. So big ups to Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield. Baker, I see you, man. I'm like this close to buying a Baker Mayfield jersey, man. I almost bought a Cleveland Browns Baker Mayfield jersey when I was visiting my sister a couple years back, like literally right before you got drafted or got traded. But I refrained because I was like, you know what? Let's just wait. I regret that decision. I should have a Browns Baker Mayfield jersey right now. I should have a freaking Panthers Baker Mayfield jersey. And you know what? I just convinced myself I'm getting myself a Baker Mayfield jersey as soon as I can. Thank you very much, Mr. Baker Mayfield. You have given me so much joy and excitement watching you play over the last few years in that, even during that up and down roller coaster in Cleveland. Ooh, these freaking Colts, they keep on rolling, guys. 3-0. One of the few remaining undefeated teams. These Indianapolis Colts put belt to ass against these Titans. Man, like I said, I still like what I'm seeing from Cam Ward. There's a lot. He's not, doing a crazy ton of stuff, but I do see the small things that he is doing right. And the one big thing is that I'm not seeing colossal mistakes that, in my opinion, will eventually lead to him being a bust or even underperforming and becoming a backup or something like that. I still have a lot of faith in Cam Ward, and I think that over time, as he grows, we're going to continue to see a ton of flashes and we're going to see a lot of growing pains. That's what it is. First year quarterbacks, unless they're the exception to the rule, unless they're overachievers, unless they're outliers, it takes a little while. So that's why I ain't giving up on you, Mr. Cam Ward, and that's why I am excited to see how you move forward because I love a nice romantic. I love a nice romance, underdog story. You know what I mean? I like that shit. That's why I love Sam Darnold so much. That man came from the highest of highs, being drafted so high in the NFL draft, brought down to the lowest of lows, told that he was nothing. And look at him now. Ooh, I love it, Baker. Great job. But we cannot move away from the incredible things that is happening in India right now. It is only 3 weeks, but I will tip my hat when it is appropriate to do so. And Danny Dimes is doing a lot of great things. It looks like he learned a lot from KOC when he was here because he has turned a page and ooh, he's looking like the guy that the Mannings told he would be uh when they told him to draft him, right? So big ups to you, Mr. Danny Dimes. I see you. Let's move on to the next game of the hour. We got the Washington Commanders going up against the Oakland Raiders. Now, this one I didn't get to see too much on, so I don't have a lot of takeaways to come from outside of the fact that this Washington football team is pretty darn good, despite their hiccups. They're just not a consistent team yet. You know, we're gonna see, there's the road is littered of of championship quality teams, playoff contending teams, where those first few years were a little rough and there was a little bit of inconsistency. So I'm not surprised that they were able to bounce back with a nice 41 piece on these Raiders, man. And I love me some Geno Smith. Geno Smith made me fall in love with footwork in the pocket last year. He was really, really good. Oh man, guys, I am going to take a pause here. I'm going to end the stream and I will be back because I actually have a customer calling right now and I will be right back.